Our planet's climate system is a complex and dynamic beast. Like a cosmic ballet, it's a delicate dance of wind, water, and temperature. One of the most influential partnerships in this dance is the El Niño Southern Oscillation, or ENSO for short. ENSO has two partners, El Niño and La Niña. El Niño, the warm phase of ENSO, is like a fiery, attention-grabbing dancer. When El Niño takes the stage, it brings warmer than average sea surface temperatures to the tropical Pacific Ocean. Its arrival disrupts weather patterns worldwide, often bringing floods to some regions and droughts to others. La Niña, on the other hand, is El Niño's cooler, more reserved counterpart. During La Niña events, the eastern tropical Pacific Ocean experiences cooler than average sea surface temperatures. Though less flashy than El Niño, La Niña's influence on global weather patterns is just as profound. These two partners alternate, taking turns leading in the grand waltz of Earth's climate. Their influence extends far beyond the Pacific, impacting weather patterns across the globe. La Niña's signature move is its cooling effect on global temperatures. As the eastern tropical Pacific Ocean chills down, it sets off a chain reaction across the planet. Easterly trade winds strengthen, pushing warm surface waters westward towards Asia and Australia. This allows colder, deeper water to well up to the surface in the eastern Pacific, further amplifying the cooling effect. The result? A slight dip in global average temperatures. But don't let that fool you. La Niña's impact is anything but uniform. While some regions experience cooler than average temperatures, others see little change or even warmer conditions. Think of it like a global game of climatic tug-of-war. La Niña pulls the temperature blanket one way, while other factors, like greenhouse gas emissions, pull in the opposite direction. The net effect is a complex tapestry of regional temperature variations. History is replete with examples of La Niña's influence on global weather patterns. From devastating floods to crippling droughts, La Niña's presence has left an indelible mark on human societies. Take, for instance, the 1998 to 1999 La Niña event. This particularly strong event brought torrential rains to parts of Southeast Asia, triggering widespread flooding and landslides. In South America, the same event caused devastating floods in Venezuela, while parts of Brazil and Argentina experienced severe droughts. More recently, the triple-dip La Niña of 2020 to 2023 wreaked havoc on global weather patterns. It exacerbated drought conditions in the southwestern United States, fueled record-breaking wildfires in Australia, and contributed to severe flooding in parts of Southeast Asia. These historical events serve as stark reminders of La Niña's power to disrupt our lives and livelihoods. By studying these past events, scientists can better understand La Niña's influence and improve predictions for the future. As we stand on the cusp of 2025, all eyes are on La Niña. Will it return for an encore performance? And if so, what surprises does it hold in store? Predicting the future of a complex system like Earth's climate is no easy feat. However, by analyzing current ocean temperatures, atmospheric conditions, and historical patterns, scientists can make educated guesses about what the future might hold. Current forecasts suggest a weak to moderate La Niña developing in early 2025. This means we can expect a continuation of the current weather patterns, but with potentially less intensity than the recent triple-dip event. However, it's important to remember that these are just predictions. The actual strength and duration of La Niña in 2025 could vary significantly from these forecasts. As with any good mystery, we'll have to wait and see how the plot unfolds. Section 5 North America braces for La Niña's fury. La Niña's influence on North America's weather is particularly pronounced. During La Niña events, the northern United States and Canada often experience colder and wetter winters, with increased snowfall in some areas. This can be a boon for skiers and snowboarders, but it also brings the risk of transportation disruptions, power outages, and other winter weather hazards. Meanwhile, the southern United States typically experiences drier conditions during La Niña events, increasing the risk of drought and wildfires. La Niña's influence on the Atlantic hurricane season is another major concern. La Niña tends to suppress hurricane activity in the eastern Pacific but enhances it in the Atlantic. This is because La Niña weakens wind shear in the Atlantic, creating more favorable conditions for hurricane formation and intensification. With the potential for a weak to moderate La Niña in 2025, residents of North America need to be prepared for a wide range of potential impacts, from blizzards in the north to droughts and hurricanes in the south. Section 6, Asia and Australia, riding the waves of La Niña's influence. Across the Pacific, La Niña's influence on Asia and Australia is equally significant. La Niña events typically bring increased rainfall to Southeast Asia, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Eastern Australia. While this can be beneficial for agriculture and water resources, it also increases the risk of flooding, landslides, and other water-related disasters. In contrast, parts of East Asia, including Japan and Korea, often experience drier and colder conditions during La Niña events. La Niña's influence on the monsoon seasons is another crucial factor. La Niña events are associated with stronger monsoon seasons in Southeast Asia and weaker monsoon seasons in India. This can have significant implications for agriculture, water resources, and the livelihoods of millions of people. As we look ahead to 2025, the potential for a weak to moderate La Niña suggests a continuation of these trends, with the possibility of increased rainfall and flooding in some areas and drier conditions in others. Section 7. A world in flux. Climate change turns up the heat. As if La Niña wasn't enough to contend with, our planet is facing an even greater challenge: climate change. The relentless increase in greenhouse gas emissions is warming our planet at an alarming rate, disrupting weather patterns and intensifying extreme weather events. Climate change acts as a wildcard in the La Niña equation. It can amplify La Niña's effects, making wet regions wetter and dry regions drier. It can also alter the timing, intensity, and frequency of La Niña events, making it more difficult to predict their impacts. For instance, while La Niña typically has a cooling effect on global temperatures, this effect is being overshadowed by the long-term warming trend driven by climate change. The recent El Niño event, coupled with record-high greenhouse gas emissions, contributed to the hottest year ever recorded in 2024. In a warming world, La Niña's influence is becoming increasingly difficult to disentangle from the broader impacts of climate change. This makes it all the more important to understand both phenomena and their complex interactions. Section 8. Preparing for La Niña's arrival. A global to-do list. With La Niña potentially on the horizon for 2025, it's more important than ever to be prepared. This means staying informed about the latest forecasts, monitoring weather conditions closely, and taking steps to mitigate potential impacts. Governments, communities, and individuals all have a role to play in La Niña preparedness. Here are a few key actions we can take. Monitoring and forecasting. Support investments in climate monitoring and forecasting systems to improve our understanding of La Niña and its potential impacts. Agriculture. Encourage farmers to adopt climate-smart agricultural practices, such as drought-tolerant crops and water-efficient irrigation systems, to adapt to changing rainfall patterns. Disaster management. Strengthen disaster preparedness and response systems, including early warning systems, evacuation plans, and infrastructure improvements, to minimize the impacts of floods, droughts, and other extreme weather events. Water resources. Implement sustainable water management practices, such as rainwater harvesting, water conservation measures, and improved irrigation efficiency to adapt to potential water shortages or excesses. Public health. Enhance public health surveillance and response systems to address potential health risks associated with La Niña, such as waterborne diseases and heat stroke. By taking proactive steps to prepare for La Niña, we can mitigate its negative impacts and build resilience to a changing climate. Section 9. La Niña in a warming world, a call for action. La Niña is a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of our planet's climate system. Its influence stretches far beyond the tropical Pacific, impacting weather patterns and human societies across the globe. In a world grappling with the escalating impacts of climate change, understanding and preparing for La Niña is more crucial than ever. By heeding the lessons of the past and embracing a future of climate action, we can navigate the challenges of a changing climate and build a more sustainable and resilient future for all. The dance of El Niño and La Niña will continue, but it's up to us to learn the steps, anticipate the changes, and ensure that humanity can weather the storms ahead.